Hey everybody, welcome to your Saturday morning dose of the mojo. Got a really great training session planned for today, but before I say anything about that, let's get into who is crushing it out there. We have a big goal ahead of us. At the end of the month is nigh, and we have a lot to do. I'll get into that at the end, but hey, congratulations to Keaton over there at Carrington Club. Absolutely crushing it this month. Katie at Creekside, always killing it, but this month getting her to her goal really early. And I know she's got some more working, Katie. Get after it. And then lastly, Christine over at Silver Glen took a cancellation this week, did not let it slow her down. Picked up another sell on Wednesday and still completely at her goal. So we have a lot of people that are knocking on the door, just need one, maybe two more sells to get to their goal, and I'm sure we're all going to do that. So without any further ado, I have a special guest speaker here with me today, and I'm trying to figure out how to even introduce this other person. I can't even think of the words to encapsulate all that this human being is. I guess I'll just say a couple things. Worst manager I ever had. I don't know what to say about that. Just terrible. But it's finding some level of, I know it's awesome, but finding some level of success out there in the real estate space, and even has some things to say about sales training. I'm in all seriousness though, guys. This is Mr. Scott Parker here with us today. Yep. And actually, I'm just kidding around. This is one of the greater salespeople. I know a lot of you guys know them, and it doesn't even need an introduction. But some of you newer folks, this is one of the greatest sales leaders I've ever known. Has a ton to say about real estate, a ton to say about training, and he's got some great philosophy that he's going to share with us today. That's just going to, I think, overall help us, and definitely going to make you better at your job. So without any further ado, Mr. Parker.
Thanks, John.
What do you have to say?
Well, John coaxed me into doing his work this week, so it cost him a cup of coffee. We're here at Panera.
I didn't even buy the coffee, but thanks for saying that.
And he will not be giving my eulogy.
Come on.
Occasionally, John shares his Saturday morning mojos with some of his friends. And I occasionally watch them, but
sometimes you're my friend,
right? There was one a couple weeks ago that was on mastery. He talked about the dip and how you get to mastery, and we got into a conversation about that. And John's like, "Hey, man, you got some cool thoughts on that? Would you mind sharing?" I said, "Sure." So here I am. So for those that don't know me, my name is Scott Parker, and I'm currently with John Green Realtor, which is a large brokerage out here in the western suburbs. So. I was doing a skills workshop with our team a couple years ago, and I was talking about this idea of mastery and how it's pyramidal, right? You got to start at the bottom and you work your way up. And someone said, "Scott, you should draw that, and we should keep that in the office." So we have. And so I want to talk to you today really quickly about the pyramid of mastery. So you think about a pyramid, and at the base is what we call the foundation, being in the home building business.
Sure.
And we call that the why, right? And those are your goals and your purpose. So why are we doing what we do, and what are our goals? So from a goal perspective, what's your personal goals? What are your business goals? What are your life goals, right? And then from a purpose standpoint, this is a challenge that I would throw out to any of you, is can you write why you exist in one sentence? John actually challenged me on this a couple years ago, and I did. So it's really fairly easy to do. You just take strength finders, right? You know what your natural talents are. What are those things that tap your talent, right? What are those kind of God-given abilities that you've been blessed with? And then what are you really passionate about? Now, careful with passion, right? Sometimes I think we get the whole passion thing a little bit wrong. Sometimes we equate passion with hobby, right? So I like to play golf, so I'm passionate about golf. But if I were to turn golf into my work, I'm almost confident it would become work, right? But when we say passionate, what are you...
Real quick,
Yeah.
they always say one of the best ways to stop riding bicycles altogether is open a bicycle shop.
Yes.
And they're guaranteed to never ride a bicycle again.
I totally agree with that. So when
Absolutely.
I think of passion, I think of what's my bigger purpose here? What are the things that I'm driving towards? So John's like, let's write it. And so mine is, my purpose is an endless pursuit of innovation and knowledge so that I can help others build a better life. And so John helped me write that, but the idea
Can
is...
I share mine?
Yeah, go for it.
Is that cool?
Man. Yeah.
My purpose statement in life is to help good things become great. That's other people, that's organizations, and even myself. and that's my purpose statement. Pretty simple, right?
Yeah, and that's awesome, dude. I
Yeah.
didn't know that. Thanks
Yeah,
for sharing.
that's my little one sentence. Yeah.
All right, so now you got your goal, right? So think of that as the foundation. Then we'll move up. We'll use a home building analogy here. So the next level is a plan, right? So you've got your
Sure.
goals, your purpose, your why, but now you need your kind of your marching orders or your blueprint, so to speak. We've all heard the saying: if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. You got your PDP, so you got your formal plan, but do you go through that process every single year of laying out what those things are to get you to your goals?
Sure.
Super important. We know it. Easy to do, easy not to do, but I highly recommend diving into that plan. So then let's go up one level to the next level, and I like to call this one skills, right? So this is
yeah.
where we get into deliberate practice, right?
Yes.
On our way to mastery,
Deep
10,000 hour rule, right?
Yep.
Deep practice. What are you doing to develop and hone your craft as a salesperson to be to be the best, right?
Absolutely.
And so I like to share an analogy. So I've got probably a lot of Cubs fans on with me this morning, right? So we got Tommy LaStella on our team, and Tommy LaStella is a career kind of utility player, right? He comes in to pinch hit. He'll have a couple at bats a week, maybe a handful a month. And I always think it's fascinating with Tommy LaStella. He's really good at it. How can you be good at something that you only truly do a couple times a week?
Right. Yeah, that can't be easy.
Or a month. And so here's a great example from the real estate business. So half of our agents' business comes from listing homes, right?
Right.
And that becomes pretty competitive. Oftentimes they have to compete against other agents.
Sure.
And so the good agents in our firm will close about 5 listings a year. It's pretty remarkable
really?
to think
Yeah.
about.
I always thought they did more than that. I didn't even know that.
And so when we look at the odds of selling, because not every listing sells,
Right.
and we look at how many listing appointments somebody has to go on in order to be successful, it's about 10 a year for a good
so
agent.
like less than once a month.
Right. So what I always remind our team is, can you be good? Can you be best in the world? Can you have mastery over something that you only do once a month? And the answer to that is always no, you can't. So what you need to do is simulate, right? You need to practice. You need to do that deep work. Do you have a role-playing partner? Are you coming to skills workshops? We need to create a safe environment where you're doing that listing presentation 5, 10 times, 20 times a month. That's how we get to that 10,000 hour rule. That's how we get to mastery.
And that Tommy LaStella
Yeah.
guy from the Bears or whatever, he does something. What does he do to simulate?
But think about baseball players, and they got the cage, right? And that's their simulation.
Oh, they did this go in the batting cage and just swing.
So he's in the batting cage. He's spending a couple hours a day. He's out there, and he's just working on his craft and honing it, so that when the time comes, right, when the game is on the line, he's pretty darn effective when he does that. So think about skills, like deliberate practice. And what I think is really funny is a lot of these are black and white. Start on the foundation. Do you have a goal? Do you have a purpose? The answer to that for most people is black or white, yes or
Yes.
no, right? Do you have a plan? Yes or no?
Yes or no? Yeah.
Here's what's interesting about salespeople, though. When you ask them, do you have skills, right? Do you put in the work? Most people, that's a gray. Most people will say yes. But in our business, this one isn't black or white. This one is it's variable, right? So skills are one of those things where if my skills are better than your skills, then I'm going to win.
Yes.
Today, right?
Absolutely.
If
Absolutely.
I'm a customer and I'm going to the K-Hub community, then I'm going to go to the D.R. Horton community. I'm coming to your community, right? It's not about having skills or not having skills. It's about my skills being potentially just incrementally better,
just a tiny bit better.
in order for
in the
me,
horse race.
right?
You win by a nose, you still win.
You got it, right?
Absolutely.
So it's that whole idea of just that little extra degree. So, and then we get to the top of the pyramid, and this one's fun. I like to call this habits. So, on your way to kind of that mastery, you put in your 10,000 hour rules. You like to say unconscious competence, right?
Yes.
Things start to lock in, and you're looking for those little extra degrees of incremental improvement.
That make a huge difference.
Correct.
Yeah.
So I think of these little things that great salespeople do every single day, these habits that they keep, the automaticity that they create around some of these like really positive habits.
Absolutely.
And I'm going to use an example. So I don't know if she watches Saturday Morning Mojo or not, but Libby Perry, right? We all know Libby Perry to be an excellent salesperson. I always thought it was really interesting about Libby is that I could never beat her into the office, even though as managers we tend to start a little bit earlier than the sales team. And one day I kind of dug in with Libby and I said, hey, why are you in so early? Why are you always starting your day this way? You know, it was remarkable. She said, you know, what I have found is that I got to prospect and make my calls every single day. And the key is getting them on the phone. And the best time to get them on the phone is during their commute.
Yeah.
And so if you ever see Libby early in the office, she has created this amazing habit around prospecting. And we like to say in the real estate business, agents are really good at working in their business. We like to call that playing office, right?
Yeah.
Making the marketing brochure and
Sure.
putting the social media thing out there. But what agents need to become really good at working on their business, right? Prospecting, networking, making those phone calls. The things that we know drive revenue, but sometimes we're a little timid or shy to do.
What'd you call it? Call reluctant.
Yeah, call reluctance, right?
Yeah, you got to get over that.
Is one of those things. So
Absolutely.
just as a recap, right? Have your goals, build a plan, deliberate practice, be Tommy LaStella, right? If you don't have a bunch of people coming to the office, this is another thing. When people are coming in the office, you're in flow, right?
Yep.
When you got a lot of traffic, things are flowing, you're handling the same objections, sales become easier. It's when it slows down a little bit that it gets a little challenging because you got time to think, right?
Absolutely.
And the game is on the line with every one of these customers. Now I got to convert these people. And so what are you doing to simulate that inside those skills? And then finally, we got, your at the top, we got habits. You know, create good habits.
Mastery comes from habits.
Become a master of what you're doing. That's it.
Brian, I'm sorry to cut you off, Scott, but my phone is literally running out of space. The awesomeness coming from this gentleman is literally about to explode my phone. So I just want to say, guys, figure out where you're at. Is it the bottom of the pyramid? Do you need help with purpose? Do you need help with your goals? Do you need help with your plans? There's a lot of different things, and I can help you out with those. Shoot me an email, let me know where you're at, and we'll definitely work on those. Having said that, guys, we need a huge weekend. I'm talking a dozen. We got 8 last week. We need at least 12 this week. So that means everybody on top of their game, head in it, ready to go. Give me a call if there's anything you need. Speciale is gone, thankfully. So I'm here for you, the best manager, obviously. Give me a call if there's anything you need, and good luck and good selling.